So, yesterday, the Heritage Foundation convened a small group of thinkers and writers to kick around where things stand at the moment. Among us were Matt Spalding, our host from the Heritage Foundation, Stuart Butler of Heritage, Henry Olson and Peter Berkowitz, Jim Capretta, Yuval Levin, and the great Michael Ullman, among others. But the person I was most interested in catching up with was Bill Voegeli, author of one of our favorite books here on Powerline, Never Enough, America's Limitless Welfare State. I asked Bill what new thoughts he had since he finished the book just as Obama was taking office.
Yes, well, one thing that's changed is that the question that Never Enough addresses, how big is the welfare state going to get? How big do we want it to get? In a weird way, it seemed like the 2008 election might have answered that. There were a lot of Democrats who hoped and a few Republicans who feared that America had finally become a social democracy, that we'd settled that question. And the tremendous kickback that we saw in the ensuing 24 months, people saying, wait a minute, this isn't really what we voted for. We didn't become friends overnight. I think made in some ways Never Enough a more applicable book to the American situation by the time it was published in 2010 than when it was written and turned into the publisher.
Are you more optimistic or pessimistic now? What's your current mood or assessment of the state of things?
Yes. Well, I try never to be too optimistic. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than deeply disappointed. I tell people I'm the only one person I know who read John Darbyshire's book, We Are Doomed, and found it a little too hopeful and wish he'd toned that part of it down. But that said, it seems to me that there are, in certain senses, a genuine possibility that American politics and the American people, in a sense, have grasped the fundamental question. This notion that we can't just sort of sleepwalking on autopilot, allow the welfare state decade by decade to just sort of do this great upward suck, to just kind of expand without thought, without reflection, that we as a republic need to decide what do we want the government to do, what don't we want the government to do, how best can it do the task we assign it. These questions are on the table rather than sort of woven into the fabric of our politics. I think that's a good sign.
And you have the paperback edition is coming out when?
February 2012.
And it has a new preface?
A new preface, but the same wonderful introduction by Steve Hayward.
Okay, you're too kind. Thanks very much, Bill. I guess we're probably due back inside.
Okay.